Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdoms. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I am having a fantastic day, and I want to do quite a bit today in Nimbania. Honestly, we're much closer to being finished with Nimbania than you might think. So, a couple things that need to happen. The Guardhouse is still floating, so I gotta fix that. I'm gonna fix that, like, right now. Well, as soon as I'm done talking. I will fix it between this clip and the next clip. That's the first thing that I'm gonna do. But then if we look at the rest of Nimbania, we got a big town square here. We'll put some sort of center point, some sort of focal point, probably incorporating the nether portal. So there'll be, something that will catch your eye in the middle of the town square. I've got to fill in the wall, which is going to kind of come out in front of this town square, probably right about here-ish, going out this way. And then bring the wall around, and then basically just fill everything else in with houses. And, I mean, that's basically it. So, like, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of space here. But there's not really a ton of stuff left to do. Maybe a better way to say it would be, there's not really a lot of planning left. There's not really a lot left to figure out. At this point, it's just a lot of putting down blocks. So, I think I'm going to just dive into it. I'm going to get this this guardhouse so it's not floating anymore. Because, really? Architecture? This is not a thing that happens in real life. But yeah, I think I'm going to get started on that, and then we're going to start building some houses, and I would really like to finish. Here's my goal. Here's the goal, right? So this is Kingdoms episode 91, I believe. I would like to finish Nimbania by episode 100. That's my goal, is to finish this kingdom before the next world tour and download. That is my plan. It may be a lofty goal, but I think we can do it. I hope. Anyway, I'm gonna get to it. All right, my friends, I am back, and the guardhouse is not floating anymore. We just kind of filled out this corner a little bit. I actually really like the way that this one turned out. I think it actually looks pretty good. It just kind of rises up. But because we got some of these little height variations and stuff, it still looks like fairly natural. And then over here, we kind of filled this one out as well. But a lot of this is going to be the wall, so I'm probably going to have to rework this whole bit when we actually bring the wall up here. I guess we'll find out when that time comes. But now, I think it is time to start diving into houses. And I have a fair amount of wood. But this may just basically bankrupt me of wood. I thought... Oh, here it is. There we go. So, we've got... not much there. Here, there's a ton of dark oak logs, which is great. That'll probably be enough for, like... probably like 2 or 3 houses, I would think. And then that's about it. And then I know I've got more in my storage room back in Regnu. So I know I've got a ton of wood there as well. So I'm just going to start plopping down houses and filling out some of this space. And, we'll just start getting things done. Also, I think this beacon can just go. I don't really need this here anymore. That was for carving out this area for the thing, the town square. Wow, I'm losing it. I can't remember things like town squares and stuff anymore, apparently. Anyway, I'm gonna get this beacon torn down. I'm gonna get some houses built, and I'll come back to you with a progress update. All right, guys, I am back. I built one house. We'll just go take a quick peek at it. This one over here. This one is now new. It's same style as all the other houses. Really nothing, crazy. You guys have seen this by now, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But yeah, I built another full house right here. What I want to do, I think, is I want to build several houses in this area. But because of the slope and the style that we're using, that's going to be like really, really hard to make that work. So I think what I want to do is actually make a retaining wall that's going to kind of come out here. We can probably curve it like so. Maybe like here. And then like this. How's that look? Oh. That one. Put that back. I'm just trying to get a feel for it from a height or from a space. Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, so we'll go there, and then we'll just bring this out. I'm just going to leave that one block there for the moment because it's fine. It'll just come straight over here. Keep going. A little bit more. And I think right about there is where we want to go. And then this will come down, and basically what we'll end up with is a nice flat area to build on. So let me sleep real quick here. Just take a quick nap. You can see I popped into spectator mode to take a look at kind of the general overview, the overview of the whole city while I was building. Get a nice bird's eye view. Because, you know, Elytra is great, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when building, I find that I like to just kind of get way up in the sky and look down and just kind of stare at it for a while. I don't know if you guys do the same thing ever, but that's just something I like to do. Anyway, so what I'm thinking here is we'll go pillars coming down. Probably one there. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Right? Like so. Like so. And then I think we'll go like every second one will be a pillar, because we actually did something very similar over there underneath that large kind of mansion. So what I'm going to do is basically just go stone brick block. Wow. I'm trying very hard to go every two, and it's being complicated for me. Anyway, there. All right, so we know this is a corner, and that's where we will then bring this back over, right? And this will then come all the way to right here. So then this will all get filled in with grass on the top. We'll put a layer of stone behind it. We'll bring all of these pillars down. And then basically everything along here will just get flattened and brought down to probably like this level, I think, give or take. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Finagling? Is that a word? I feel like that's a word. It's going to take a little bit of, kind of messing with it for this little area over here, but I think it should be okay. We'll basically just bring those pillars down, get in the stone, and I think this is actually going to end up looking pretty good when it's done, especially since we'll have some nice height variation up there as well. And the retaining wall, I think, will look, pretty cool. Or the other option, I suppose, would be to bring that retaining wall all the way over, but then this staircase ends up being a little weird. So I don't think I really want to do that. But anyway, I'm going to get the retaining wall in place and get this all flattened. All right, guys, I am back. The retaining wall is done, I think. So here's how it looks. Honestly, I think this turned out just fine. This will do. So it's up at the level that I want it to be at. I will have to kind of go in and change out this stone for grass, but that's fine. Overall, though, like it's perfectly good. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We can get kind of a decent look at it if we land on top of the church steeple. So here you can see this is it, and this totally works because now we have this nice big flat space where we can build a bunch of houses and stuff. It's not hard to build when the house is on like a couple different elevations. Like, for example, if you're building on this level and this level for a single building, that's totally fine. Piece of cake, right? But when you're building on, 6 different elevations, then it gets a little trickier. And we had so many different layers and elevations here before that it was just going to be super, super annoying to do. So I think this was a really good option. As far as what it looks like from the sky up above, I think this looks really good as well. And it gives us kind of this nice little sort of defensive overlook, right? Guards could come out here and kind of look out over the city and see what's going on. And we might do something with the wall, the top of it, like fence it off, or, maybe we could do something, kind of along these lines where we have like, iron bars or something. I don't know if I will or not. I might. I'm considering it. I think I want to do kind of the rest of everything else, and maybe we'll come back to that in the detail phase if we decide we even want to do it. I may just decide to leave it as is because I kind of like it how it is right now as well. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, though, we now have a whole bunch of space here to build houses. I also think, now that I'm kind of looking at this, now that we've sort of peeled everything else back, I think I want to kind of do the same here. Just so we don't have... Yeah. That's going to look much better. And we can kind of bring that in and that one in a little bit, and maybe that one by one. Right, give us still a nice kind of gradual slope. Or curve, I guess you would say. But that way it's not right up against the edge. I think that'll be good. Cool. All right, so now I think it's time to get back to actually building houses again over here. So we've got one house done. We've got the retaining wall done this episode. Time to dive in and maybe get some more houses done. All right, guys, I am back, and I've got 3 more houses built over here. And if the wall is going to come somewhere along here, like, that's perfect. So these will be the 3 houses. There is actually some space behind them over here to put whatever we want. I think this might end up being like a little... not really a backyard per se, but think like laundry and maybe like a couple little sheds and, just kind of random stuff back here. Or we could put some trees and things in here as well. All in all, though, 3 houses, and they're all looking at fly. There we go. And they look fine. They're, they fit right in with the rest of the theme. Also, someone mentioned in the comments, I'm not doing this as the comment of the day, but somebody mentioned in the comments, hey, I really was hoping that you would use diorite slabs because this light stone brick is diorite in my texture pack. I really was hoping you'd use diorite slabs in addition to the stone slabs now that they're in the game. And I will. That's a thing that is going to happen for the texture variation in the path. But I always do texture variation and stuff for the most part at the very end of a kingdom. So that'll be like one of the last things we do when we come in here, put in a bunch of trees and foliage and add texture variation to the roads and all that, like, kind of little fine detail, street lights like that, stuff like that. That's going to be like one of the last things we do. So that's coming. I haven't forgotten about it. I haven't not noticed. That haven't not. That's a double negative self. I have noticed that diorite slabs now exist and that we can make use of them. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because that'll be one of the last things we do. So I want to jump into the comment of the day because I think I'm pretty much done building for today. We're actually really low on resources. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop down some trees and stuff and gather more because we need a lot more spruce wood. I also need more prismarine, but I have tons of prismarine. What I don't really have that many of is ink sacs, and we do have an ink farm that's running like literally right here. It's like right here. This thing is a squid farm that is basically constantly producing ink. So last time I cleared this out, I don't know, a few days ago, and we've got a few more stacks. It's not super fast, but it does work. So, oh, yep, you can hear the dispensers ticking away. But anyway, I want to jump into the comment of the day. While we're doing that, I'm going to start chopping down some trees because it's kind of a long one, and, you know, that's perfectly fine. So, today's comment is from Caesar. I'm probably going to butcher this. Sherwinski? I don't know. Caesar, I'm sure I butchered your last name. Either way, he asks, what is your wedding story? And I don't know that I've talked about that before. Maybe I have. Either way, I will address it because it's a wonderful wedding story. It's like a fairy tale. Okay, it's really not, but so my wife and I, we celebrated our 5-year anniversary. Yeah, our 5-year anniversary. Wow, time flies. Our 5-year anniversary about a month ago, right around a month ago. And our wedding was very, very small. Like we had a very kind of small, quaint, cute wedding. Like we didn't go overboard. We wanted to keep it basically as cheap as we could while still having like a traditional quote unquote proper wedding. I use that in the loosest sense of the term because there's not really any right or wrong way necessarily to do a wedding. But we wanted to have like a traditional ceremony with a church for the family to come to and, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, let's see. All in all, I think my wife and I dated for roughly, I want to say it was about 1.5 years before we got engaged, and then we got married like 6 months after we got engaged, because, in our naivety, we were like, oh yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a small wedding. It'll be easy to plan. It won't take that much. I mean, how hard could it be? You choose a church, you find an organist, you buy some rings, you get some food, and call it a day. Yeah. Yeah, we're never doing that again. So it was a very, very stressful 6 months between the time that we got engaged and the time that we got married, because we significantly underestimated I need to find a good place to do this. I guess we'll just do it over here. This is fine. We significantly underestimated how much stuff there was to do. But basically, we got married in the church that I, basically grew. Oh, I forgot about the Podzol thing. Okay, we're gonna have to find somewhere else to do this. We will chop down this one, but I completely forgot that Podzol just randomly spawns now. When I forgot that growing large spruce trees now spawns Podzol. So we're gonna have to go far, far away to do this, because I don't want Podzol everywhere. I should totally have thought about that before. Oh well. It's fine. I forgot. It was a change that was made to the game quite a while ago at this point, and it just, for whatever reason, completely slipped my mind and didn't even think about it. Anyway, so as I was saying, we got married in the church that I basically grew up in. I think I've talked about this before. My mother is a first grade teacher at a private Lutheran school, and I grew up, in church every Sunday, no matter what. That was just the way it was. My mother, it's interesting because my mother is very religious, but my father like, I don't know if I even remember the last time that he went to church, other than for like when I was a little kid and there was a Christmas pageant and he'd like show up to watch me sing Christmas carols at the top of my lungs because that's the type of child that I was. It made sense to get married in a church and to get married in the church that we got married in, because the first grade, the school that my mother teaches at is like attached. Not like physically attached, but it's like a part of that church. It's like owned by that specific church. They're associated or whatever. So like if the child of one of the staff members was not actually married in the church, like that would probably raise some eyebrows for my mom. And I didn't want, we wanted to avoid any sort of silly, unnecessary drama and nonsense. But long story short, we got married in a Lutheran church. We had a very small wedding. I think we invited maybe a total of like 50 people. Maybe we probably invited a grand total of like 100 people, which I know like that sounds like a lot, especially if you've never planned a wedding or anything. But one thing you need to realize is that my wife is like the youngest of 9 children. So her family is just like ridiculously large. So we basically invited like immediate family and like our very, very best friends. And that is basically it. But because my wife's family is so big, it still ended up being like 100 people that we invited. And obviously not everyone could make it. I think, long story, I think at the end of the day, we probably had, I don't know, maybe like 60 people at the wedding. And I think it was basically all family members except for like a tiny number of friends. I need to find like a decent flat area with grass that I don't mind turning into Podzol. A plains would be lovely anywhere. I mean, I suppose like I really don't want to do it in the middle of snow. You know, if it's fine, whatever. We'll just do it here. This is okay. So I'm just gonna do a little this, just clear some space. I didn't want to get rid of the grass, but either way, it's okay. There we go. And there. All right. So anyway, as I was saying, back to my story. We got married in a very, very small church. We got married in a church. A church that was... Oh, please tell me that you don't have to actually clear the snow. You probably do. Which is infuriating, but whatever. I don't think I particularly like that. Now will you grow? Yeah, now it grows just... Whoa, how did I end up? I'm so confused right now. Either way, this is how I chop spruce trees, by the way. This tree had so many leaves. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is just one of these. And then what we do is basically do them in pairs like this, which works totally fine until it doesn't. And then these can just go. And then that gives us this big blob of trees like this. And then you basically just land on the top one and start chopping. That's how I do spruce trees, because it's much easier and faster to do it that way. But anyway, wedding story. Yes. So we got married in a church, and then we had, basically the bare minimum number of people there that we could have, because you kind of have to invite, I suppose you don't have to invite everyone in the family, but we invited basically all of our families, immediate families. I don't think we invited any third cousins or anything like that. It was basically just, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, grandparents, aunts and uncles, etc. Quote unquote immediate family, close family, whatever. And then our very close friends. We had, my best man. Actually, interestingly enough, the guy who was the best man at my wedding is like on his way to come visit me down in Tennessee from Wisconsin. Like as we speak, as I am recording this, he is in the car driving down here from Wisconsin to come and visit me for the weekend. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my best man. I've known him my whole life. I believe the maid of honor, if I remember correctly, was one of my wife's 4 sisters, 3 sisters. Hold on. Now I need to think in my head. 3 other sisters. Yeah. 4. Is that right? I don't know. Either way, her family is so big that I can't even keep them all straight sometimes. Like, and she's the youngest. Like, she has brothers old enough to be like my dad. It's a little ridiculous. But anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh yes, and then for the reception, we rented out the town hall from the tiny little itty bitty town that I grew up in, which was fantastic because, you know, when you rent out, at least in the United States, if you rent out like a hotel ballroom for your wedding reception, like it gets pretty expensive, and that's for like a quote unquote cheap one. Like you're looking at several, you're usually looking at like I think we checked a couple places and they wanted like $2,000 to rent it out over, you know, for like one night or for like 2 days, you know, one a night, and then basically the next day to clean up. But the village hall from the town that I grew up in, they're like, oh yeah, you can have the place for the entire weekend for like $100. It was amazing. And it was like a decent sized room, especially considering the number of guests we actually had. And for music, I basically just took a laptop and had a playlist and played music off of a laptop. And that was basically, like, that was it. That was the wedding. It really wasn't anything super fancy. We kept it as simple as we could. If I had to go back and do it again, I would probably do it exactly the same, except I probably would have, in hindsight, I probably would have been like, okay, let's not get married in 6 months. Let's get married in like a year or a year and a half, just because there was so much nonsense in planning that went into things. Like, it got a little ridiculous. Because you think that things won't work, but then like there's you got to work things out with catering, and you got to pay for this and you got to pay for that, and the wife has to find a dress, and you know, you got to have a best man, and then you got to, you know, get your suit tailored, and then you got to do like all this other kind of stuff. There's just so much that went into it that it just it ended up being a lot more than I thought it was going to. But either way, as I said, it was a pretty small wedding. was perfectly happy with it. I think this way is the way home. Uh-oh. I think I remember what the coordinates are for home anyway, though, so, like, I think we'll be fine. But I'm pretty sure this is the direction we have to go to get back. Accidental adventure? This may be an accidental adventure. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Wait. Birch forest here. Oh, there's my beacon. Maybe. Yes, this is my beacon, which means Bullstone is like right here. Okay, I knew we were close. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for me. As I said, guys, my best man, my friend who I have known essentially my entire life, we grew up together. People used to mistake us for twins because my parents used to babysit for him when he was little, and his parents used to babysit for me when I was little. Like, we were inseparable when we were very, very young. He's coming down to visit, and I gotta do stuff. I gotta, get things ready, make sure the house is clean, and get this video uploaded and edited and all that kind of stuff. So, I gotta get going. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.